we received for ICON 2023. Each submission we received are reviewed based on originality, significance, technical soundness, and relevance to the conference. The papers went through blind review. The accepted papers are presented orally and posters with 3 minutes booster presentation. Both oral and poster presentations will be published in the ICON 2023 conference proceedings and included in ACL Anthology. The details of the submissions are as follows. As said earlier, the total number of papers were submitted, 174. The papers sent for review after scrutiny, 166. Total number of papers accepted, 93. Out of that, number of papers accepted for oral presentation, 30. Number of papers for poster presentation with booster presentation is 63. So we have 163 papers for blind review. So we had reviewers, 324 reviewers, because we asked for 3 reviews for each papers. The number of accepted tutorials, 9, workshops 1, demo 1, and shared task 2. I give a little bit of the demography of the submission. We received papers from 4 language family: Indo-European, Indo-Aryan, Dravidian, and Tibeto-Burman. We received papers from 8 countries: Nepal, India, Bangladesh, USA, UK, Germany, Italy, and Mexico. This time we have received 6 paper submissions from industry as well: Accenture, IBM, TCS, Interactions LLC, Optimum Global Solutions Private Limited, and Microsoft. Almost all states in India are represented. Languages, most of the scheduled languages in our country, and non-scheduled languages like Tulu and Khasi. The tribal language, Malasa, a southern Dravidian language spoken in the area of Kerala, is also represented. The research areas, NLP, speech, multimodal, and quantum NLP, and latest technologies like LLM and quantum NLP are included in the paper. The papers are of high quality with innovative ideas, and we may look for a best paper award if the jury agrees. And I take this opportunity to wish all participants a wonderful time with rich academic interactions. And thank you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that overview on ICON 2023. Now I invite General Chair Professor Sivaji Bandyopadhyay to deliver his address.
Good morning and a warm welcome to Professor Menon, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Goa University and Chief Guest of today's inaugural program. Guest of honors, Sri Bhushan K. Savoykar, Director, Directorate of Higher Education, Government of Goa, who, because of his busy schedule, so at this moment he is not with us. NLPI President, my colleague, Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya. Program Committee Chairs, Professor Jyoti Pawar and Dr. Shobha. Distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Ruslan Mitkov, Professor Joseph Van Gerabit, who will speak online, and Professor Rajiv Sangal. Distinguished dignitaries, delegates, research scholars, and my dear students. Welcome to the inaugural program of the 20th International Conference on Natural Language Processing, ICON 2023. Held at Goa University. We already have started the pre-conference tutorial yesterday, and the post-conference tutorial will be held on 17th. This year, while arranging the program, we have put focus on multimodality and multilinguality at the first place. Because when we started our work, what we understood by NLP is basically the text processing part. But over the years, understanding that language is a means of communication all over the world, so people are not only limited to text, but the image and the vision or the video, so that integration came into play, and India was not far behind. So you'll find a lot of papers in this domain. Multilinguality, as we understand that our own country, India, is basically multilingual in nature. And the national education policy of government of India puts a thrust on the multilinguality character of India itself. So as a technology people, we need to, as a computational linguistics people, we need to have a role in the development of the country itself. We have put focus on the critical views of large language models, because LLMs have become a buzzword nowadays, and anything people do. So I think that, okay, there is nothing more to do because LLM has got the solution for each and everything. But the issues of interpretability and explainability, which AI people have started working, those who are critics of LLM. So in the NLP or domain also, so that views came into play. And we have a number of tutorials and have a number of paper presentations also, which takes a critical view of the large language model. Then speech-to-speech machine translation was also our focus, because in the last 5-6 years, the Indian speech-to-speech machine translation has taken effort. Then in the area of deep learning, what is the role of linguistics? So that is whether we will be only having a data-driven systems or will make the integration of both. So that focus also is still there, and focus on the low resource NLP, because there are so many languages across the country and across the world also. That is where a data-driven NLP is basically a challenge. So how people are taking care of that part. So we focused on these areas. So while finalizing the final set of programs, so that was our objective. And in addition to the traditional sub areas of natural language processing. And our objective was to see that we have a pan-Indian presence, that is in terms of languages and in terms of laboratories. And already Shobha has identified that is from the different countries we had our submissions. And so, as I understand, because I am associated with the NLP ICON organization all through the 20 years or so, so we are spreading, and there are obviously lots of scope to do that. Now, this year, as Professor Jyoti has already pointed out, we have introduced the booster sessions, so that, because what we see that is whenever a scholar gets a poster acceptance, feels very demoralized, because say, okay, that is a second grade kind of thing. But to show that posters are basically the works in progress, new ideas which are not completely complete. So there will be, that is basically the idea is to have a 5 minutes talk in the parallel sessions. No question answering after that, because there will be a poster display area where you can confront the person who is presenting the poster. And with this solution, poster booster area, because that is a standard practice in high-level conferences nowadays, so we can have online poster presentations, because world is or will remain as hybrid as this one, and there will be many online presentations, there will be physical presentations as well. So before concluding, I should say that is the young scholars who have come from different parts of the country and maybe from outside India also. There is so much to do. That is, don't get bothered that, okay, LLM has solved each and everything, and any research question you put to LLMs and ChatGPT and etc. And Google is coming up with Gemini and so on. But there are so many things to do. Develop your systems on a smaller scale, because the systems that have basically withstand the passage of time is basically the small systems. Research was done on that, then that was scaled up. And what becomes important is basically the finding the evaluation methods, because the way we are looking at the solution space, the evaluation methods So that needs a change up. That satisfies that what basically we want to focus on. And slowly, as I have said at the beginning, we are moving towards a complete artificial intelligence, because unless the keyword AI is there, so people don't believe that they are doing something very serious. So from text to image to vision, and then the machine learning approaches, data-driven approaches. So areas of lifelong learning, one-shot learning, the way that human basically do the learning process. You see something for once in your life, maybe just one example, and then you can repeat that thing in your life. That is your learning philosophy. Multi-agent reinforcement learning and so many things. So machine learning approaches are here to stay, but integration with the language itself, linguistics concepts and etc., that is also things for the future. So with this, and wishing the 2 days of the main ICON conference and the post-conference tutorial and workshops at the end also, and create the networking, because once you leave the conference, so you need to be in touch with each other and share your thoughts, because there is nothing like a watertight compartment or institutions. So let's work for the Indian language scenario, for the international border as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now may I invite NLPAI President Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya to kindly address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you. Professor Menon and dignitaries on stage, Professor Ruslan Mitkov, Professor Sangal, and my NLP colleagues for a long time. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 20th edition of ICON taking place in Goa. Now, this particular conference has traveled a long distance. This is the 20th edition. And the association is also, I believe, as old. Professor Rajiv Sangal, Professor Deepti Mishra Sharma, Professor Vasudev Verma, and many of us have sort of worked hard to build this association, to give a shape to this conference, which is an important platform for researchers. Now, in all these activities, the conference is often the most important phase of the association. So, for example, Association of Computational Linguistics has as its most important activity the annual ACL conference, which is the topmost forum for disseminating and presenting research ideas in computational linguistics, natural language processing. Now, if you see the world of NLP today, the times are extremely exciting. Lots of new developments are taking place. Professor Bandyopadhyay mentioned large language models. And we know that there have been 3 generations of NLP, the rule-based NLP or model-driven NLP, followed by data-driven, which again has 2 incarnations, the statistical machine translation and neural machine translation. And I'd like to call large language models as with a 3.5th generation, 3.5 generation of NLP. Now, it is a great responsibility for an association like us to disseminate correct information, accurate information, and also have a good coverage of what is happening all around us. Large language models have really revolutionized the way we do natural language processing, but the associated risks are bias, hallucination, hate speech, fake news, and so on, which have to be tackled properly. Now, one of the very redeeming feature of this particular conference is that there is very nice representation of Northeast. My colleague, Professor Shikhar Sharma, Professor Kishorji, they're here. And there are papers on Mizo language, Assamese, Bodo, which will be presented in this conference. So this kind of inclusivity is very, very encouraging. So this conference will surely, go forward. Will have a lot of strength built into it. It is our responsibility to give this platform to young researchers and disseminate new ideas, especially keeping in focus the Indian languages. So I welcome you once again to this particular conference and hope you will have a great time. Thank you very much. And thanks also to the organizers, Professor Jyoti Pawar, my colleague Professor Kamath is in the audience. I'm seeing you after a long time. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our most illustrious chief guest, none other than our very own Honorable Vice Chancellor, Goa University, Professor Harilal Menon, to deliver his address.
Good morning. Shri Bhushan Savaikar, Director of Higher Education, Professor Shivaji Bandopathyay, Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, my other colleagues on the dais, Professor Rajiv Sangal, then all other deans of various schools on campus, other faculty members from across the country, and of course across the state of Goa, because I realize that there are many from higher education in Goa are also present here, and my dear students. In fact, I feel really honored to stand in front of you, such an august gathering, who have been working for the last almost 2.5 decades to see that how the language could be perfectly used when you have a technological advancement. In fact, this gathering itself, if you see, it is a convergence of minds having passion to unravel the complexities of language through technology. And when I see that, when I look at NLP, natural language processing, I realize that's a dynamic process, because I said last 2.5 decades this has been going on. Due to this dynamic process, it's an intersection between the language and the computer science that has finally come out in the form of your ChatGPT, or now you have Google-based many chatting the softwares. When you see language, now you may sometimes, those who are not involved in this, you may see that why computer scientists have to do that. If you look at the country, in fact, before that, let me tell you that language is the powerful tool to express. And if you look at the country, there are 780 languages. And across the world, there is 7,000 languages. So any technology, you also know that our country is progressing economically. So any technology, you must see that it goes to grassroots level. I realize that there are 22 languages this has gone, the application of technology has gone to farmers. And similarly, there are many other aspects. So that means any technology is developed for what? For the sake of the common man. And when you look at India, in fact, India, we cannot afford to have only technology and then keep in the cupboard. Rather, it has to have application, because we have 1.4 billion people population in the country. And how many are below poverty line? So how to make their life simple through technology? I mean, if you really look at 2010, in fact, I consider 2010 as the fourth industrial revolution, where we have seen the spectacular discovery of AI, then of course the robotics, and then drone, and of course you have the IoT. These are the things. And we have also seen, already we have seen that its applications are across, like medical sector, aviation sector, education sector, everywhere you have that. So therefore, how to tackle this? How to take this forward? In fact, I have come across one of the activity of it's a startup, wherein the AI-based algorithm, of course, there is a robot, and then that is examining the malnutrition of children in a school in Andhra, wherein they get the data, and then that data goes to the concerned government department, and they have analyzed, and then they come to a conclusion that these are the kind of food to be provided to these children, so that next generation will not be of this sort. Another important thing which I have been always telling, that we have now life expectancy is more. So therefore we have more people above 60 years old, population in fact. So government has to take care of them. And one of the disease they are suffering from is loneliness. So wherein there has to be, in fact, I have gone through the abstracts and then, whatever documents Professor Wah had sent. I didn't see any, abstract on sociological aspect. Because if you computer scientists sit together and discuss about that, you must also know that what are the kind of difficulty. For example, let's say there is an interaction between the social sciences and computer science to study the disease as a result of loneliness. In fact, in Goa, it's rampant. So once the social science have come out with the data and then analyze that, probably, on the basis of big data analysis, you would be able to come out with a solution or maybe a technology, and that can be in a hospital so that when a person goes, the doctor would be able to understand it in a very perfect manner. So therefore, whatever technology is going on, whenever there is the conference of this sort, please see to it that sociologists are also there. And university is, and we have the social science school is there. Very excellent faculty members are there. So had they been there, they would have, or you would have got an understanding or exposure from what kind of a research they have done, and so that you would have come out with some new technology. And that is, something which I realized that that would have been taken care. And then, various other aspects, as I said about medical. When I say medical, I feel that 5 years or 6 years down the line, the specialization in radiology will be replaced by robotics. Radiology, I'm saying. And already there is a news from one of the famous doctors in Goa that he had done a successful knee surgery with the help of robots. 100% success. So this is the way this is going on. And therefore, unless and until you are proactive, like NLP, the researchers who are doing. In fact, I'm thankful to especially meeting Professor Rajiv Sangal. In fact, about him, Professor Jyoti had briefed 2 days before, and he had given me a book. Sir, definitely I'll go through the book, and then whatever suggestions or comments I have, I'll tell you. And I request all these young minds to see that, discuss and deliberate the problems the common man is confronting with, and then how technologically you can solve. And in fact, as Professor Jyoti said, we have now school system across the campus, for which, why that has been done basically after NEP-based curriculum was implemented, wherein we have number of programs. But again, let's say if you look at GBS, you have only one MCA program, computer science program. Remaining are all MBA. Then you have commerce. You have many other. So which means that there has to be an intersection between the social aspects and this. And when you look at this now, I also realize that there are some threat perception here. Technology is going on. At the same time, you must also look at the threat in the sense that data breaching should not be there. The personal, the space should not be encroached by technology. So that means you have to strike a balance between the advancement of technology and the mitigation due to this threat. That needs to be taken care. And when I said about the social sciences, I'll add one more sentence and stop. That is, let's say that you want to analyze the technological advancement or technological interference in a culture.